David Wigan, 10 minutes daily reality check. Thanksgiving week. Enjoy it. Whether you're going to, remember that song, right? As a kid, over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. I think it's got to be more modern right now, especially in Los Angeles. I think in Los Angeles it would be stuck in traffic and through six lights. 3 hours later, we made it to grandmother's house. We have to go because it's time to go back before the traffic gets bad. Thanksgiving, man. I remember Thanksgiving when I was a kid. We were, for some reason or another, had to always go to Grandma Frankie and Grandpa Mickey's place in Greenwich Village. My Grandma Rose and Papa Sam, they lived in Queens, and for some reason or another, my Grandma Frankie always got Thanksgiving holiday. It was her holiday. She had to have it. And I remember getting to Grandma's house. We'd get there around 2 o'clock, and my father and mother would make a big deal. The drive from Scarsdale to Manhattan was, roughly 37 to 40 minutes. We'd go down the old West Side Highway, which was this incredible raised road. It's now, I think, the Chelsea Highlands and other things. West Side Highway is totally different now, but it was cobblestone. It was brick. It was falling apart. It was pretty amazing. We'd shoot down, we'd go to Greenwich Village, we'd get to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother's house would always have too much heat on. In Manhattan apartments, especially older pre-war buildings, it's radiator heat and it just comes pouring out. So the second you walk in, you'd feel really sleepy. Like you'd almost want to pass out. My grandmother would be there. She'd be all dressed in her Chanel outfit. My grandfather, who was this short, balding guy, would sit there in the chair and be reading a book. He would say hello. My grandmother would say hello to us, and my grandmother would then ship us off upstairs. We'd have this little meeting, and we'd all talk, and then the adults would talk and start to get drunk. My grandmother was an alcoholic, so she'd start pounding the whiskey, and we would literally hustle our way upstairs and fall asleep and watch the football game. My grandmother had a maid. Her name was Lois. Lois was this really great woman who lived in Harlem. And my grandmother made Lois work Thanksgiving. And my grandmother summoned Lois, who was in the kitchen serving us, with a bell. My grandmother was, I would say, old school bigotry. She believed that the help should be warranted with a bell. And you'd always hear this little ding, 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 ding bell that would go off whenever it was time for Lois to serve more food. This year on Thanksgiving, there'll be no Lois. I serve my own food. I learned a lot. My brother Eric's coming into town. He'll probably do a podcast. My nephew Nicholas is coming in, and my daughter and Nicholas are going to play for the first time together. So it's going to be fun. My brother's flying in on Thursday. It's going to be a really nice week. As we give thanks this week for Thanksgiving, we start thinking about where our life's been. It's just a natural thing. I think the last 6 weeks of the year, we tend to always reflect about where we're at. What have we done this year? What have we accomplished? Where are we at in our relationship? Where are we at in life? Where are we at monetarily? It just has a way of doing that to us. The end of the year is kind of a cleansing, and a lot of us then go into what I call bullshit mode, which is New Year's resolution, tricking yourself and tricking your mind that some fucking resolution is going to change an entire pattern that's been going on for an entire lifetime. I don't want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I think they're bullshit. I think they mean nothing, because every day is a chance to have a resolution. Every day is a chance to grow. Every day is a chance to evolve. And every day is a chance to change where you're at in life. And change doesn't just happen because a clock strikes midnight and you make a decision when you're drunk sitting in the corner of some fucking bad New Year's Eve New Year's Eve party, or paying too much for some overpriced meal that would run you half the amount of dollars the following night. Resolutions are bullshit. Change in your life is now. And that's what I want to talk about today. How do you change? How do you make the necessary changes in life? How do you make that decision that things are going to change? Because I know change is a progression that takes minute by minute, day by day, step by step. You just can't all of a sudden wake up one morning, lose 50 pounds. You can't wake up one morning and be thinner, smarter, richer, quicker, and wiser. It doesn't happen that way. That's why New Year's resolutions are a crock of shit. Because you just can't wake up because the clock strikes 12, the calendar goes to 1119, and everything is going to be different. Nothing is different in your life if you're still surrounding yourself with the same people that you have around you right now. The only way to make massive changes in life, the only way to grow exponentially, is to figure out who you need to model the growth after. That's the beauty of the world we live in right now. People are so accessible to each other. You know, in order to go and find somebody 30 years ago, you had to write them a letter. Now you could just look up on the internet, find out where they are. Most likely they have a site or some Instagram. You can connect with them that way, and you can ask them and look at them and say, hey, you're really, really successful. I would love for you to mentor me. What do you charge? You'd be amazed at what the answer might be. There's a lesson I learned a long time ago. There was a man named Steve Dubin. Steve Dubin was this very wealthy guy. I was doing the seminar circuit back in 1998. And Steve Dubin came up with something called the Slight Edge. The Slight Edge is really all you need to know better than your mentor. That's it. He went into this long speech in front of a whole group of people, and he put his fingers together, and he separated them by like 1/8 of an inch and said, this is all you need to do. Find yourself a mentor, and then try to just be 1/8 better than them. And that's it. You'll grow exponentially. You become stronger. You become smarter. You become faster. You become the bionic brain, the bionic man, the $6 million woman, the bionic woman, whatever it is. You become fucking superhero version of you. But the problem is most of us do not know where to go. There's so much noise out there. You turn the internet on, and literally it's like this. There's so much noise. So much bad advice out there. So many people out there that are not qualified to give the advice, that are not qualified to teach you. It's hard to find mentors that are actually qualified. So when you look for a mentor, you look for somebody, and I've talked about this on many podcasts, and it's something that's really deep to my heart. Look for somebody who you want to be. Emulate them. You're never going to be them, but you might as well learn from all their mistakes. Like when someone comes to me and they want to be coached, I will literally tell them all the mistakes that I've ever made in my entire life and how to avoid them. Whether somebody listens, whether somebody wants to learn from my mistakes, that's great. We know as human beings, we always have to still make our mistakes, especially if you're a strong-minded individual. It's really important to consistently make our own mistakes. But there is a shortcut. The shortcut truly is to find a mentorship. Somebody to mentor you, somebody who will help you grow, somebody who will allow you and see the potential in you. The problem is most people are so cheap with themselves, they never want to spend the money. They'll spend money on a new TV, they'll buy themselves a new computer, they'll buy themselves a new car. They buy the superficial things that think make their life better. But in reality, their life never gets better, because the only way your life is ever going to get better is if you surround yourself with people who you want to be. If you want to be stronger, then you got to surround yourself with very strong people. If you want to be smarter, then you got to surround yourself with smart people. If you want to be richer, you surround yourself with people who are wealthier than you. I've been coaching for a long time. I spend a couple hours a day coaching. I spend 5-6 hours a day trading, and I have a lot of free time to do other things because that's what life is to me. When it came down to learning trading, I went from group to group, chat room to find the mentorship that I was looking for. Because I know in order for me to develop as a trader, for me to develop another skill, for me to have another business, because coaching just doesn't take 8 hours a day. My schedule is busy and then my schedule is not. So why not have multiple streams of income? That's what I enjoy to do. I'm not set out to just be a coach. I was set out to do other things. So when I started trading, I looked for mentors, and I went from one to the next to find one that resonated with me until I found the mentors that I'm with now. And every single day when I'm learning from this person, I'm imagining what it's like to be them, because mentors are always confident. Like when I coach somebody, people are like, they always say to me, man, David, you just make it so simple. You make it so easy. It's so effortlessly. And I look at them and say, great, just mimic me. Do what I do. Listen how I listen. Express yourself how I express myself. Communicate like I communicate. I can teach you all this stuff. When I coach somebody, I can teach you everything I do. You need to trust it. You need to let go. You need to be a good lieutenant. You allow me to be the sergeant, and you can have what you're looking for. So when I was looking for my mentors, I found some that were good. I found some that were mediocre, but I didn't find one that was me. And then my new mentors, I listened to them talk, and I'm like, that's me. That's how I want to be. I desire, and this is what I use these terms, I desire to be relaxed when I'm trading. I desire to have fun. I desire to laugh. I desire to be this confident. I desire to see. And I imagine what it's like to be inside their brain to see what they see. Because the more that I see what they see, the more that I actually see it myself. The more it becomes real. And when it becomes real, that's when the success happens. That's when the change happens. That's when life starts to happen for you. So when you give thanks this week, whether you go to your own version of Grandma the Drunk, Frankie, or Grandpa Mickey, you got to make a decision on who you are emulating. Who is your mentor? Who is going to form the new you, the new exciting, the new daring, the new wealthier, skinnier, more amazing you? I love being a mentor to people. I especially love when young guys or email me and say, man, thanks so much for being the dad. You know, I'm in the dad zone now. The dad I never have, the older brother I never had, the friend I never had, the person who set me straight. I love when women email me and tell me, thank you so much for helping me understand men and helping me understand that I can be powerful. I can attract people. I can open up my heart, open up my soul, and open up my mind and not look for validation. Who's your mentor? Who do you want to mentor you? And go for it. 2019 will be your year, but it's not going to be your year because of a fucking resolution. It's going to be your year because of an action. And the action starts now. Thanksgiving week 2019. David Wygant, 10-minute daily reality check. Give your thanks to me by passing this podcast on to others. Post it on your Facebook wall. Post it on your Twitter wall. Tweet it out. Share it. Love it. I will see you tomorrow.